Good evening. For this edition of Eddy's Kitchen, we have got quite a treat. Winter is coming. It's November. Our deer season opens in Texas. We've got some wonderful loin from some of our game here. This is from a white-tailed deer here in Texas. We typically call that a backstrap, but it's the loin, not the tenderloin. I've had this processor that I love so much. They have made a chorizo sausage for me, the traditional Mexican style, where it's in the casing. We would pull that out and cook with it. This is a breakfast sausage that they've made for me. All of their sausages are going to have about 30% pork and what we call a pork butt, or the shoulder. Get your processor to do it yourself. You'll have lots of uses for that game. Now we have to harvest a lot of game on our place, and so I get a lot of these. Some people will say, well, it's no better than frying your backstrap or your loin, and it's a great way to cook it. Cook it with a good hot oil and a cream gravy. Who wouldn't like that? Well, we've got a treat for you tonight. I'm going to cook it on my Traeger. I'm going to show you how I'm going to tenderize it a little bit. I'm going to tie it evenly so it cooks evenly, and then we're going to cook it until it's pretty rare. Serve it with some of this stuff that we're cooking. We've got some asparagus and some great little carrots here that I'm going to put in there. We're going to fix some mashed potatoes. For an appetizer, I've got some little neck clams that are still in season here that I picked up. Going to serve a little white wine sauce and broth with that. It's going to be so good. Got a couple of kinds of mushroom. We're going to stuff some mushrooms with some of the sausage and try that on for an appetizer. And then I've got a couple of the darker ones that we're going to mess with a little bit and maybe saute those to serve with our backstrap. I think you're really going to like this meal. I want you to pay attention, learn on this, read the recipe, read what I did. You'll find a lot of other ways to cook your meat instead of just deep frying it. We're working on our appetizers here. I told you I was going to cook a few of these little neck clams, and we've got them got a medium heat going down there. I've sauteed a little bit of onions and a little bit of garlic, about a quarter cup of both. We're going to put those clams in there and let those cook for just a minute, about 5 minutes, and then we're going to add some chicken broth to it, and we're going to add a cup and a half of white wine, and we're going to cook them. Then we're going to bring it to a boil and then turn that down and cook them until they simmer. Let's give these about 5 minutes just to warm up a little bit. We've been getting our appetizer ready here. We've got stuffed mushrooms. We're getting ready to cook the stuffing. I've got some venison breakfast sausage here. I've sauteed onions. I've sauteed garlic. We're going to put a little light cream cheese in it. We've got some wilted spinach now that we've put in it. All of this is just coming out terrific, guys. This cheese is going to melt in here. I may add just a little bit of mayonnaise in it. Just give it a little bit of tartness to it. Some people say they don't like it, but they don't see me cook with it. They seem to like my dishes pretty well. We've got our venison sausage appetizers ready. Tastes really good. I'm going to put these in the oven at 400 for about 15-20 minutes. I need to go ahead and get our main entree going. We've got this wonderful backstrap or loin from a deer. You can use them from an elk. You can use them from a moose, anything that you get, but almost all of them need to be tenderized just a little bit. Now, unless you kill an animal that is very, very young, or harvest the animals very young, you're going to need to tenderize it a little bit. I've trimmed all the blue skin off of this. As you can see, I've got a multi-prong tenderizer here, and we're just going to work it a little bit and go through it and punch it, you know, kind of all over, not a whole lot. You can get a commercial tenderizer that works a little bit better maybe in some cases, but this is pretty good. This is done very nice and professional. We've sucked all that skin off. We're going to add a little bit of 8/0 tenderizer to it, and of course it says use it like salt. I'm going to encourage you to use it sparingly. I get an unseasoned so that I can go ahead and salt and do that kind of stuff. So we're going to put a little bit of that on there. We're going to go through it one more time. The loin tends to be a pretty good cut of meat anyway, so usually you're not going to have much trouble. Now I'm going to put a little kosher salt on this, a little cracked pepper, and then I'm going to bring this together like that, and I'm going to tie it with some baker's twine. And so I've made one tie up there at the top, just a regular overhand knot, and then I'm cinching this kind of like when you get ready for your backpack and you're getting your packs ready for your horse. So each time you take your little string, go around your fingers, go around the meat, come down to the next place about I don't know, 3/4 of an inch away, and then pull it right up there on top, and I'm just going to keep doing that all the way down. I'm going to end up with a nice even cut of meat that's going to cook evenly. Wanted to also show you what we're doing with our clams over here. We've got our little neck clams, and we're just cooking them now. We've got our sauce all boiling, and we're just letting it boil until they all open up. It'll take a few minutes here. We've been cooking our meal and getting our appetizer ready. We've got some clams and some white wine sauce we're going to serve. Some people may want to just dip this sauce itself. It's pretty good. Could have got it maybe a little bit thicker. I added some half and half and some butter to it. We're going to serve that with some of this sourdough bread that we made. Just a wonderful appetizer. We've got our meal ready to serve. I did do one thing I want to tell you all about. I used some of this Knorr's Béarnaise sauce, and it is wonderful. You can cook your own Béarnaise sauce. It's a whip to fix. This is just as good, and it's 10 times simpler. You mix a little butter, a little milk with it, and the package that's in here tastes wonderful. You're going to love it. If you'll serve that with your meat, I think you'll like it a lot. I've cooked this venison. Let's see how it looks. Took about 30 minutes at about 350. Let's see what that looks like. Geez, guys, that looks good. This is going to turn out so good. If you'll cook this, cook it with the Knorr's Béarnaise. I fixed it with some greens. I've also got some mashed potatoes. We'll put a plate together and show you what that looks like. All right, guys, we've got our mashed potatoes, got our mushrooms in here. Got this wonderful Béarnaise. I'm just going to put a little bit. You can determine yourself whether you like it or not. I think you will. It is delicious, and there we go. Meal fit for a king, made of a game from our great country here. Boy, you cook this, I think you're gonna impress some people with your cooking skills.